In today's YouTube video, I'm going to be giving you the ultimate and only guide you will ever need to getting better aim in Valorant. If you're struggling to improve it and you're looking for something short, simple, and to the point, well, I've got you covered. If this video does help you out, be sure to drop a like on the video, and as well, I do tweet a lot on Twitter. There's some banger tweets over there, link in the description for it too. So first off, we're going to be starting off with the main point of where people go wrong. They go into some aim tutorial, they follow it, but they don't actually identify what they're doing wrong, and they don't personalize it to themselves. Now, as great as having a warm-up is, it's not going to be great if you're not realizing what the actual problems are in the first place. So once you've watched this video, the very first thing that I want you to do is go ahead and play a game of Ranked. And play it throughout and analyze every single bit that goes wrong with your aim. What you do well, what you do wrong whenever you're in an aiming scenario. If you die, see if it was your aim the problem, and if it was, what was it specifically? Was it crosshair placement? Was it reaction time? Take a look at it in depth, and then I want you to write all of this stuff down. You should come out of the game with a few notes on what you did wrong, situations where you died, how your aim has affected the game. You now know what you need to improve on. And don't get me wrong, having a Radiance aim warm-up routine in your game is pretty good too. But if your time is valuable and you consider your time valuable, I would not recommend doing this. I would recommend first off doing what I've done and look at what you're doing wrong. So let's say I've come out of my game and my weaknesses were my reaction time. I died to it because I didn't react to the player quick enough in one of the scenarios. Another scenario was my crosshair placement when I was going up moving objects. I was struggling with that a lot more. Crosshair placement on level ground was fine though. And the only other pattern that I did notice was that my aim was a little bit worse at the beginning of the game compared to the end of the game. So the very first thing that I've identified here is that my reaction time is going to be a little bit off. Now first of all, I'm going to put this down to a warm-up routine. Why, you may be thinking? Well, because reaction time can just be because you're not awake enough, you're not simply ready to play the game. A warm-up routine will solve this, but another reason that is pushing me for that is that my aim was a lot worse at the start of the game compared to the end, which again implies I haven't warmed up and I need to warm up before my games. Some of you might not need to, which is why it's important to look at the weaknesses before you dive into some random tutorial. I'm also going to add on a reaction time training drill in aim lab or the practice range, or probably the practice range is what I would recommend, setting it to hard mode because that's really going to test your reaction time right there. I'm going to practice this once a day to improve that. So not only a warm-up routine, but also that too. The next problem was my crosshair placement when I was going up objects, which means the height is going to be a lot different versus just standing on the ground and aiming at the head level. So this one is often something players do struggle with, and they won't even notice it a lot of times. Now, how do you go about fixing this? Well, the best way would be to go into a custom game and simply practice adjusting to head level. If you're going up a ramp on split, for example, when you're going up that ramp, think about where the player's head would be and aim and adjust to it. And if you don't get it right the first time, do it again and do it again until you're starting to get the hang of it. Practice going around the different maps, which is not only going to help your map knowledge, but it'll also help your crosshair placement on where to aim, what corners to check, and how to aim as well when you're going up a ramp or something that is going to increase the height that you're on. Now after that, it's all about consistency and making sure you're doing it day in and day out. You really want to focus on this and make sure it's important too. Because as well, you also really are going to have to do this day in, day out, and after every single game, is analyzing what you did wrong with your aim and how you can improve on it. Try and see as well if your reaction time is getting better, if your crosshair placement is getting better, the weaknesses, if they're improving or not, and if they're not, what should you do about it? And if new ones come up, again, how should you target them? And really just see what's going on and really analyze your own gameplay and take in the feedback from the game. Because the reason so many people go wrong is because they'll look up a tutorial on how to aim, or simply go onto a warm-up method from a Radiant player, and realistically, it may not always help. Guaranteed, it is going to help. 100% it will help in some way. But for the most part, it's not going to be as valuable as targeting your own weakness first. And if you're someone who values your time, this method is going to be for you. You'll be able to target a weakness straight away and work on it straight away too. Now, if you have a reaction time problem, or if you have a crosshair placement problem, you can either come up with your own method, or you can 110% go onto my channel and look for my guide on it, or someone else's and take a look. I would always recommend mine though, because at least then we know it's an actual weakness and you're not just looking it up for the sake of looking it up and thinking you're cool because you have a Radiant warm-up. Realistically, when you're stuck in bronze and you're doing that, it doesn't look too good. So I hope this aiming tutorial has helped you out, and if it did, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe for more tips and tricks videos like this, And as well, I do stream on Twitch, link down below. And if you're looking for players to play with, there is a Discord too. If you want to support me further, there's a Patreon down below too as well. And please drop a follow on my Instagram as well if you really enjoyed the video. There's a link down below too. And click on the video on your screen right now if you want to find the best graphic settings for Valorant to make your FPS higher, your graphic settings look better.